The docking bay of station hummed with the usual chaos of frontier space. Hazel Kaya wiped the grease from her hands, her dark eyes scanning the latest arrival with practiced assessment. The ship was a mess, a Voltorian royal cruiser, if the gold-trimmed hull plating was any indication, but it looked like it had limped through an asteroid field sideways. "Another rich alien who can't maintain their own vessel," muttered Daniel from beneath a cargo hauler, his voice echoing in the cramped maintenance bay. The young human mechanic had been Hazel's apprentice for 3 years now, ever since she'd found him trying to hotwire a shuttle with nothing but scrap wire and determination. Hazel smiled despite herself. Humans. They were still the new kids in the galactic community, barely 2 generations since first contact, yet they'd spread across the frontier like wildfire. Most species still couldn't fathom how creatures from a death world, a planet that actively tried to kill its inhabitants, could be so cheerfully reckless. The airlock hissed open, and a figure emerged that made even Hazel pause. The woman stood nearly 7 feet tall, her crystalline skin refracting the station's harsh lights into rainbow patterns. Voltorians were known for their beauty, but this one carried herself with an authority that went beyond mere genetics. Her robes shimmered with quantum-weave fabric that cost more than Hazel's entire station. "I require repairs," the Voltorian said, her voice like chimes in a cathedral. "My ship's quantum drive has destabilized." Hazel approached, already mentally cataloging the parts she'd need. "That's expensive work. Quantum drives aren't something you patch with duct tape and prayers." "I can pay." The woman's multifaceted eyes fixed on Hazel with unsettling intensity. "I'm sure you can." Hazel pulled out her diagnostic pad. Daniel grabbed the quantum scanner. "Let's see what we're dealing with." For the next 6 hours they worked. Daniel proved why Hazel had taken him on. The boy had an almost supernatural intuition for machinery, seeing patterns and solutions that took other species' sophisticated AI to calculate. The quantum drive wasn't just damaged, it had been sabotaged, carefully and expertly. "Someone tried to kill you," Daniel said bluntly, his hands buried in the drive's crystalline matrix. "This wasn't an accident." The Voltorian woman, she'd introduced herself simply as Lyra, didn't seem surprised. "I have enemies." "Must be serious enemies to mess with quantum technology," Hazel observed, running her scanner over the damaged components. "This kind of sabotage requires access to royal-grade security, someone close to you." Lyra's expression remained unreadable, but something flickered in those prismatic eyes. "You're perceptive for a mechanic." Hazel grinned. "I'm from Earth, sweetheart. Perceptive is how we survived long enough to reach space. Everything on our planet, the weather, the animals, the microbes, tried to kill us daily. You learn to spot threats." "Fascinating," Lyra murmured. "I've heard stories about Deathworlders. They say humans are either brilliant or insane." "Usually both," Daniel called out cheerfully. He'd bypassed 3 security protocols and was now elbow-deep in components that would give most technicians radiation poisoning. His Deathworlder immune system would shake it off by morning. As the repairs progressed, Hazel found herself studying their client. Lyra watched everything with keen intelligence, asking questions that revealed a deep understanding of starship engineering. She wasn't just some spoiled royal, she knew her way around a vessel. "The quantum matrix is shot," Hazel finally announced. "I can jury-rig a replacement using compatible components, but a proper fix would require parts I don't stock. Cost you about 40,000 credits." Lyra's face fell. For the first time she looked vulnerable. "I don't have that much. My accounts have been frozen." Daniel emerged from the engine compartment, quantum residue making his hair stand on end. "Frozen accounts and assassination attempts. You're having a rough week." "You could say that." Lyra's voice was bitter. "Political complications." Hazel and Daniel exchanged glances. They'd developed a silent communication over years of working together, a very human talent for reading micro-expressions that other species found unnerving. "We'll do it for free," Hazel said. Lyra blinked, her crystalline features cycling through confusion. "I don't understand. Why would you?" "Because you need help," Daniel interrupted, already pulling parts from their personal inventory. "And because whoever tried to kill you is an asshole who doesn't deserve to win." "But the cost?" Hazel shrugged. "We're humans. We do stupid, reckless things. It's kind of our whole deal. Besides, can't have a ship this pretty stuck in our bay. Bad for the aesthetic." For the next 18 hours, they worked without sleep, another Deathworlder advantage that never ceased to amaze other species. Hazel fabricated custom components from scrap, while Daniel reconfigured the quantum matrix using techniques that would make Voltorian engineers weep with envy or horror, possibly both. Lyra watched it all, occasionally asking questions or offering insights about Voltorian engineering specifications. She was brilliant, Hazel realized, and despite her royal bearing, she treated them as equals. When Daniel made a joke about quantum particles having commitment issues, Lyra actually laughed, a sound like crystal bells. "There," Hazel finally declared, sealing the last panel. "Your quantum drive won't win any beauty contests, but it'll get you wherever you need to go. Probably won't explode." "Probably," Lyra raised an elegant eyebrow. 98% certain, Daniel assured her. "For human engineering, that's basically guaranteed." Lyra stood silent for a long moment, her gaze moving between the two humans who just saved her life for no reason other than kindness. "You truly want nothing in return." "Safe travels is payment enough," Hazel said. "Just maybe watch your back better next time. Quantum sabotage isn't amateur hour stuff." "I will." Lyra moved toward her ship, then paused. "Before I go, I should tell you something. I am not merely Lyra. I am Queen Lyra Shinter of Voltoria Prime, 7th of my name." Daniel dropped his wrench. Hazel just smiled. "Yeah, we figured," Hazel said. "The quantum weave robes kind of gave it away. Still doesn't change anything." Queen Lyra's expression transformed into something radiant. "For 6 months, I have traveled the frontier in disguise, searching for a consort. Voltorian law requires the monarch to choose a spouse who demonstrates worthiness, not through strength or wealth, but through character when they believe no one of importance is watching." "Oh," Daniel said weakly. "Oh no." 47 suitors across 12 systems, Lyra continued. "All failed. They either tried to extort me when they discovered my identity, or refused to help without payment, or performed repairs so poorly they endangered my life further." She smiled, brilliant and genuine. "Until I met 2 humans from a death world who fixed my ship for free simply because it was the right thing to do." Hazel held up her hands. "Now hold on. I'm not asking either of you to marry me," Lyra laughed. "I'm asking Daniel." The young mechanic's face cycled through approximately 17 emotions in 3 seconds. "Me? But I'm just a kid. I'm 22. "And I am 34 by your calendar," Lyra said gently. "Hardly a vast difference. You're brilliant, kind, and brave. You saw someone in need and helped without hesitation. What more could I ask?" Hazel watched Daniel struggle with the decision, then did what any good mentor would do. "Kid, I can run this station without you. The question is, do you want to?" Daniel looked at Lyra, really looked at her. Past the crystalline beauty and royal bearing to the woman who'd spent 6 months searching for someone who'd treat her like a person instead of a prize. "Can I still fix ships?" he asked. Lyra's smile could have powered the entire station. "Daniel, I'm offering you access to the most advanced shipyards in the galaxy. You could revolutionize Voltorian engineering." "Then yeah," Daniel said, that reckless human grin spreading across his face. "Yeah, okay, let's do this crazy thing." 3 months later, Hazel stood in the royal palace on Voltoria Prime, wearing her least grease-stained jumpsuit, watching Daniel marry a queen. The boy, no, the man stood tall beside his bride, looking terrified and thrilled in equal measure. The galactic news networks couldn't stop talking about it. A Deathworlder consort to the Voltorian throne. Political analysts predicted disaster. Xenophobic factions protested. But Hazel knew better. She'd seen what humans could do when they stopped trying to prove themselves and just helped. She'd seen kindness triumph over calculation and compassion over politics. As the ceremony concluded and Daniel caught her eye across the hall, giving her that same goofy grin he'd worn when he was elbow-deep in quantum matrices, Hazel raised her glass in salute. Humanity, fuck yeah indeed.